Hello there, welcome along to the start of the British Grand Prix from the historical Silverstone circuit. I'm standing alongside me is our Motogp commentator, Matt Birt. Lovely to see you, Matt.
Yeah, always a pleasure, Amy. Nice to be back on home soil for once.
It really is. It was nice not to go to the airport this week.
It really was, yeah. Just didn't have to dust the passport off for a change.
No.
Very nice.
Well, I tell you what, we will not waste any time because you are joining us just ahead of today's press conference. So I'm going to start off by filling you in on all of the riders that we have that will be filling those seats and being quizzed by the journalists. So joining us in today's press conference, we have leader of the World Championship, Marquez, Andrea dovizioso, Viñales, Danny Pedrosa, Cal Crutchlow, Scott Redding, and also Tom Luthi, which really brings us on along nicely to tell you about the guests we'll have joining us hopefully in a few short minutes. We should have Mark BDS's team principal Michael Bartolami joining us because big news today here. Thomas Luthi, he's waited a long time for it, but he will finally have his opportunity in MotoGP as of 2018 with the Mark BDS squad. What
an opportunity for Tom Luthi. As you say, Amy, he's had to really bide his time, wait for this kind of opportunity. I guess it just shows good things come to those who wait. Tom's had to be incredibly patient. I spoke to him earlier in the year and he said, like, people have always asked him why he's never been able to move up to MotoGP. Spent so much of his career 125s, 250s and Moto2. He's been in Moto2 right from the start in 2010. He said the reason he's never been in MotoGP is because he's never had a serious offer. There's never been anything concrete on the table for him to make that move. So finally it's come. I think it was a toss-up between him, Sam Lowe, Stefan Bradl's names were mentioned at Mark BDS. Cracking lineup though, two real hot rookies, you know, Franco Morbidelli and Tom Luthi moving up. Which one of them will be moving up, having the bragging rights as a Moto2 World Champion? It's going to be really fascinating to see that team next year.
And really interesting to hear Michael Bartolami's thoughts on that in a few short minutes. But I think the other thing that stands out from that, not promotion, we're not talking about football, what am I talking about? From him moving up to the MotoGP class is the fact that obviously it's not so much of a stereotype, but we see the factories tending to lean towards the younger riders. So it's really nice to see a choice which is perhaps a little bit against the grain. And we saw how well that worked out for the likes of Johan Zarco this year. I mean, not ruling Johan Zarco of being older, but he is an older rider to be moving up to the MotoGP class.
Well, what Tom Luthi's move does, Amy, it shows that when you're over 25, you have still got a future in the MotoGP World Championship. You know, Tom's 30, 31. Yeah, he might have felt like his opportunity, his chance to move to Premier Class had gone. But you're absolutely right. When Marc Marquez came to MotoGP in 2013 and started ripping the record books to shreds, it moved the goalposts. It changed everybody's definition of rookie riders. Everybody was looking for that next hot young star. That's the reason why Jack Miller was plucked straight out of Moto3 into MotoGP. That was an experiment that kind of worked in some respects. But now the pendulum's almost swung the other way, where I think you're right. You know, Johan Zarco's performances this year as a 26-year-old, you know, mixing it with the likes of Lorenzo Dovizioso, Marquez, Rossi and Viñales, pretty much week in, week out, has kind of convinced people and shown people that you don't have to be taking the next bright young prospect in Moto2. Give them time to establish themselves in the Moto2 World Championship, and I think Luthi, I'm excited to see how he goes. You know what you're going to get with Tom, don't you? He's a steady Eddie character, super fast. But I'm sure he's going to grasp that chance with both hands because he's waited a long time for it.
Well, it was a really busy week in terms of news in this break between last time out in Austria and here in Silverstone, because there was another couple of announcements in regards to 2018. Let's talk about Taka Nakagami. LTR will be finally running again a two-rider team, and that's what goes to Taka Nakagami. Based on this year's results, though, were you perhaps a little bit surprised about that? Or?
Well, I mean, I think the Nakagami announcement was not a surprise. We've been expecting it for quite a long time. We know that there's been lengthy discussions between himself, HRC and LCR. We know that Honda are desperate to find the next big Japanese star. You know, that's why we've got the likes of Ayumu Sasaki and Kaito Toba coming into Moto3.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start in a minute, so if everybody could take their seats, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. That's good. Sorry? End of the year. Yeah.
The best in November, yeah.
Yeah, that's, I think, the plan, yeah. We just signed, so not many things are clear yet. But now it's still try to keep the focus.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if we could all sit down in a bit of hush, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. So it's a very good afternoon to sunny England. It's round 12 of the MotoGP World Championship.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, the last race was amazing. When I was at home and I watched the race, I was more nervous than when I did the race. And because I did 8 laps in front, I was focused on my line, tried to be precise and fast, and just the last corner was quite crazy, but I was focused and I did the right decision. But I believe this weekend it will be there will be more riders with a really can be fast. I mean, so like every weekend it's a different story. We have to see the tires, but I think it will be a good weekend, especially because it looks like we will have a good weather and there is time to work on the bike.
Okay, we'll start off with Mark. We have a question from Hanifa on Facebook. Which race would you like to revisit and experience again, and what reason do you give?
It's many races, but of course have some fun races, like last race with Dobby. But the one that maybe I enjoyed more was 2014 in Montmeló, because I fight some part of the race against Lorenzo, some part of the race against Valentino, last part of the race against Danny, and in the end I take the victory. That one was very nice because I fight against top riders during the same race.
Thanks, Mark. On to Dovi. This question is from Wyatt on Instagram. With your recent success that you've found this season, that's giving you a strong fight for the title, can you look back and tell us some of the more frustrating moments that you've had in your career?
A lot of moments in my long career. For sure, 2006 it was into 250, my second year. I fight for the championship until the last race, but it was a frustrating year. I didn't feel good on the bike, and when you don't enjoy to ride the bike, is not so nice. And for sure, the first year with Ducati, it was very difficult. So I remember very well, and that's why now it's really nice to be in this situation.
Thanks, Dovi. On to Danny. This is a question from Two Wheel TV on Instagram. Asking about your helmet. We've had a lot of fans asking about this. What does the symbol on the top of your helmet mean to you? The Japanese symbol.
For me?
Yeah.
Obviously a lot, because it's the philosophy, is the lifestyle, is the way you approach things, your life, your personal problems or I mean defeats or goals, and the way I share my emotions with people. So yeah, a lot means a lot.
Thank you, Danny. On to Maverick. This is from MotoGP fans Chennai on Instagram. If you were to name your bike, what would you name it and why?
Oof. I don't know. Maybe baby. My baby.
Your baby?
Normally, yeah.
Okay, that's good enough for us. We'll move on to Scott now. This is from Rob on Instagram. You've recently had a new tattoo done. If you got the opportunity to design a tattoo for another rider, what would it be and who would it be for? Be careful.
you know, I expected that question. I had an answer, but I won't say it. So, No, I don't know. That's quite difficult. What you would design for someone. Maybe a bulldog for Crutchlow.
And reasons why?
I don't see him smile so much, so I think a bulldog, being British, a bit his style. That's my answer.
Thanks, Scott. We'll swiftly move on to Cal now. This question is from Rowan on Twitter. Rowan is referring to another big event that's happening this weekend, the boxing fight between McGregor and Mayweather. First of all, we want to know your thoughts on who you think will win that fight, and then also Rowan has asked which other rider would you face in a boxing match and why?
First of all, on the fight, if I don't get up on Sunday morning, it's because I've been watching it, and it could be a late night, but I don't know. Obviously, McGregor's a monster athlete, so I have to back him, but I can't see it past Floyd winning, to be honest. Fighting another person in the MotoGP paddock, or in the MotoGP class. I'd have to pick Danny because he's the smallest.
Hands of stone, man.
Okay, thanks, Cal. Finally, for Tom. This question is from Sarah on Twitter. Which of the riders alongside you here most impresses you and why?
Of these guys here?
Yeah.
All of them impresses me, for sure. They are here. But, I mean, I have also a small history with Mark. And we were racing together. We had some big fights in the Moto2 class together. And then, I mean, he went up and got the title immediately. And it was very impressive for me. But, I mean, all the guys impresses me, yeah.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, guys.